Really like your casting. Helps with learning games. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I do what I can. I do my best. As we're getting into our next series, into our third series of the night, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines, we have the red Protoss player, the German Protoss, representing Berlin International Gaming. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the German Terran player, the blue Terran. Currently teamless, but again, an amazing player in his own right, getting a lot of fans at HomeStory Cup. It is Moja. Here we go. Just catching up in the chat. I was at HomeStory Cup as a VIP, 25 as a VIP, and I wanted to buy a last minute ticket, but then I had the flu and couldn't travel in time. I'm sorry to hear. Yeah, sometimes things like that do occur. It's but hopefully you'll be there for the next one. I would hope so. It's all good. I'm sure at the next HomeStory Cup there won't be any issues either. It's one of those things where, if I remember correctly, I think Dennis was talking about how there was like some construction going on, and there was some just infrastructure issues going on at the time, like locally. I mean, in the area of Take TV and HomeStory Cup. So, you know, some issues just outside of their control, and I'm sure that won't occur next time. You know, I mean, HomeStory Cups in general have been a pretty smooth environment. You know, whether it's 25, 24, 20, I mean, onwards, right? The issues that they had at 26, I'm sure, is more isolated. But regardless, we're settling in. Settling in. Really, we have confirmation it was actually Slow-Iran's fault. It was because he couldn't go. He sabotaged the venue. Confirmed. Kappa. As we have our tech of choice, going to be a Twilight Council opener out of ShoWTimE. Meanwhile, Moja going for a Rax Expand economic opener here out of our Terran player, going for a later factory. As we settle in. Again, the bunker's on the way. This is to protect the CC. So if there was an earlier Adept move out, then there are going to be Marines in a bunker to help defend, to help fortify. Speaking of early Adept, it does move out. So ShoWTimE's goal here is to try and delay the expansion, but the bunker is done in time, and Moja, he should be fine. The CC does complete. ShoWTimE confirms, threatens a shade into the main, and Moja so far is keeping up. Does wall off. Does raise the depots. Does raise the depots in time. Likewise, Moja getting across the map. So you get the recall back home as we get one probe kill. One worker goes down. And the question becomes, how many gateways? How many gateways is ShoWTimE going to be working with? He has Blink, that is true, but it's going to be 2 gate Blink, 3 gate Blink, or 4 gate Blink Stalker. So far, we have a 3rd gateway on the way, so a very safe opener out of ShoWTimE should be 3 gate Blink into an expansion. This is designed to, you know, defend against early game aggression, to have a presence on the map, and the 3rd base has been taken. So not too aggressive here by ShoWTimE. Just a safe opener overall. Will be secure. Moja behind this, just building up. Getting to his 1-1-1, moving out with a Widowmine drop. Now, when it comes to this Widowmine drop, there's only 2 Widowmines. This isn't really too committed. It isn't really designed to get damage done. More than anything, this is designed to scout. To scout and to get a read on what's going on. Checking the vision of Moja, he doesn't really know. He hasn't seen the tech of choice. I mean, for all he knows, it could be a robo opener. Wouldn't be a Stargate at this point, but there could be a bigger commitment here on 2 bases. So ideally, Moja wants to get a read on the production. Has already spotted the 3rd Nexus. And does boost it. Does boost into the mineral line, gets eyes on the setup. Mind shot's going off, gets 1 probe so far. Just the 1. And Moja does not get into the main. It's going to be forced back. At least Moja does keep the medevac alive. And behind this, embracing more bio-heavy composition. I don't really know if Moja is really one to embrace mech, not quite a player like Gumiho or Ryung, for example, where they are willing to mix in mech even against Protoss. But not here. As ShoWTimE is establishing his third base, is going to be staying on 3 gates, and he's going to be taking instead, going into a Bay and a Forge +1 into Disruptor production, sorry, into Colossus production, I meant to say. My mind is still wide for that previous PvP. But Colossus is going to be the take of choice from ShoWTimE. And this is a little bit old school. I'll be honest, we don't often see fast disruptors quite like this anymore. Especially in the current patch, in the current meta, we've been seeing a lot more storm play, especially because of the energy overcharge. We've seen a lot of storm play. We've seen a lot of players that delay their splash damage and go into a higher gateway count and go into earlier charge and just go for like a swarm toss style into eventually storm as well. So I do appreciate this. I mean, ShoWTimE has always been one to embrace a more Colossus heavy composition, even in PvC. Something more secure. And the first Colossus is halfway done. It's halfway done at this point. Behind this, Moja getting his third. Is building up, so no crazy 2-base all in. The observer is spotted, is going to go down, but at least ShoWTimE gets eyes on the third base. So he knows that there's no all-in coming. He knows that Moja is going to be expanding. He should still move out with his army, that is true, but it's not going to be as committed. And ShoWTimE, he does get eyes on the army. Will attempt to slow it down. Comes Moja's expansion. And Moja now he has his upgrades. He has Stim, Combat Shields, +1. Once again gets spotted by the hallucination. ShoWTimE is aware. He has his Colossi. Moja, he does leave his tanks back at home, just moving up with his bio. And just a really nice spread here by ShoWTimE. He has hallucinations all over the place, making sure that if Moja does commit to an engage or does push in, that ShoWTimE sees it. Just clearing up the spotted Marines, replacing them with spotted Zealots. Again, so important that you keep up with the rotations. And Moja, he's going for a split push. Double drop towards the left. Hallucinations, they do scat the main army. ShoWTimE is aware. He's built up to 3 Colossi. Moja meeting up with his main army as well, does reinforce. Once again, he gets spotted. Once again, is spotted. And again, we saw a similar dynamic between Moja and Maru as well, where it's just all about positional play, keeping up with the army. Raven does distract. But the army gets cleaned up. Moja going for a Doom drop. As he moves out, he does spot the Zealot run by, and I mean, they spot each other. ShoWTimE going for a drop. Moja is distracted. And now ShoWTimE, he has been able to survive. He gets his 4th base uncontested. The 4th base is getting fully operational. Now getting into double disruptor production, diversifying his splash damage. So important here that you don't just rely on one form, on just Colossus, for example. So disruptors are on the way. Zealot drop into the main. Once again, just distracting Moja. ShoWTimE soon to max out. Moja not too far behind himself, now working on his own 4th CC. Ghost Academy is on the way. We should soon be seeing some Viking production as well, to help deal with those Colossi. As both armies are building up. Raven gets caught out. Rough movement there from Moja. ShoWTimE, he is maxed out. He's on how many disruptors? He's on 3, soon to be 5. Soon to be 5 disruptors. And ShoWTimE, he has quite a death pool of an army. That's that's terrifying. Is moving out, and unfortunately this entire time Moja has been posturing, but there's been no harass. Outside of the auto-start harass, of course, there's been no drop play, no damage to the economy of ShoWTimE, nothing keeping him busy. And a Protoss that has been left untouched. I mean, that's a terrifying thing. It does feel like coming in towards this maxed out army, this maxed out game state, Moja has been a little bit too passive. I mean, he has been trying to be active, but ShoWTimE has been able to keep up time and time again. As Moja is going for a split push. Ghosts have arrived. No Vikings, which is a little bit concerning. It's very bio heavy. ShoWTimE keeps up, he responds. EMPs do land. ShoWTimE zones the army away. Likewise here towards the north as well. Nice force fields. Shutting down the bio. Moja's being forced back. Oh, the disruptors though. Oh. Okay, ShoWTimE pulls away. I'll save the disruptors. Warp Prism back into the main. Massive warp in of Zealots and DTs. He's going for the tech. He's going for the main. ShoWTimE gathering his army together, getting ready for his own move out. And he's pushing. We could end up in a weird base trade. Uh-oh. ShoWTimE moves out. As he moves out, Moja moves in. And the 4th base is going to fall. And we're going for the base trade. We commit. And Moja is going to be able to bring down 2 bases at once. The 4th base does fall. The 5th as well under fire. ShoWTimE can always recall, but he commits as well. He's pushing in, going for the 3rd. Likewise, Moja racing into the main, going for the Doom Drop. Let's go. 3rd base goes down. All the bases are going to be on fire. And can Moja buy time? As he's just shooting through these buildings. Depowers the Robos. Ideally would like to snipe that Dark Shrine. The Dark Shrine can be a problem, as there are DTs and scans are going to be required. Moja pushing in, ShoWTimE as well. Nova goes up. Oh my god, massive connection. EMP does land. And again, ShoWTimE will eventually break in. Both players are supply blocked. Oh, Zealous, sorry, the DTs are going to force some more in. No more Dark Templar. And Moja, the mass migration has arrived. We have to get the hell out of the main. Lifts up every single building. Likewise, pushing into the main base as well. Are there any DTs? Some of them do get morphed in. They're here. Top left. Top left, we have some Dark Templar, Warlock Cannons, and Shield Batteries. You could argue that Moja should have gotten behind the middle line a little bit sooner to snipe this tech. The DTs can become a problem. Are there any scans? Oh. Okay, one planetary. There's a planetary, there's no orbital. Just double checking it, there is no orbital, so no scans are available. There are EMPs, true. As ShoWTimE is still on 2 bases, DTs are going to waddle in. And again, no scans. Has to make sure not to EMP himself. There we go, he does boost the Medivacs away. As a reminder, EMPs can do friendly fire, so if he wasn't too careful, he would have EMP'd his own army. Let's move forward. God, that's still a lot of disruptors, and ShoWTimE has a base mining. He has a full base mining here. Ay, ay, ay. And Moja, he can't engage. Not into all these disruptors. It's not going to happen. Not like this. If only Moja was aware of the expansion, I mean. Because there's a massive... Oh no, the buildings are dying. Moja floated into the corner. He's going to lose everything to the cannons, to the army. Moja running out of buildings, diving in, Nova goes off, massive connection, and GG gets called. ShoWTimE, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. An intense game state. I mean, again, the main army was something that Moja could never fight. He could never fight the main army of ShoWTimE. Once he got up to, what was it, 7 Disruptors and 3 Colossi, it was a crazy main army, just could not be pushed into. So the base trade was the best option for Moja. Unfortunately, even though he was able to get into a lot of bases real quick, he wasn't able to get on top of the northern bases. He wasn't aware of top left. If he was aware a little bit sooner, if he had gone for those fringe bases earlier, then maybe the base trade could have gone in his favor, but alas, it took him too long to head in that direction, and ShoWTimE was very well set up. Very well set up in the end. GG, well played. And with that, ShoWTimE takes a lead. Oh. And now we're getting into game number 2. And here we go, we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Neon Violet Square, we have the German Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Berlin International Gaming, BIG, leading the series 1-0, 1 game away from taking it, from advancing on. It is ShoWTimE. Taking the series over Moja, I mean. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player, also from the land of Germany. It is Moja. Here we go. As welcome one and all to Neon Violet Square, the first time we're casting this here so far in our broadcast of the group stage. One of the more vetoed maps in the map pool, so I'm a little bit surprised that we're going to be embracing it here between these two players. Neon Violet Square is the largest map in the map pool. It's a very large map, a lot of bases, very wide open as well, a lot of expansions here, and we do often see a lot of late game on Neon Violet Square. It can be relatively easy, or at least easier than some of these other maps, to get your natural, your third, your fourth base, your pocket base up and running. Even the goal base can be secured in a longer game state, so often we do see players avoid this map. Likewise, center of the map can be quite awkward to engage into as well because of the Pachinko machine. These squares can mess up some pathing. There are certain units that cannot actually go through this. Depending on their size, they cannot traverse through those squares. Could be a factor coming into this. But for now, we are going to be settling in. As Moja does open up with a single gas, guys are going for a CC on the low ground. So economic opener here out of Moja. I mean, very often we see a lot of greed on Neon Violet Square. We see a lot of greed, a lot of fast expansions, a lot of fast third bases as well. Again, this is a map that you can cut corners. Can cut a lot of corners here on Neon Violet Square, and we'll see how many we do go for. If we were casting Bjorn, for example, Bjorn, he does love going for a third CC before second, like just racks expand into third CC. Like, if Bjorn can get away with it, he will. Maru follows suit as well. In this matchup, I mean. We'll see what Moja goes for. So now the Reaper does move out. And yep, there it is, third CC before second racks. Moja doing his best Bjorn impression. It's going to be on location as well, so even greedier than you would typically see. But it is going to be at the pocket base. So this pocket base has less minerals, it does have less resources, so not as impactful as a regular expansion, but still greed nonetheless. And again, this is what we expect on Neon Violet Square. It's a game of greed here. Cut all the corners. Now, typically, a 3cc opener leads into a 3-rack. So 3cc, 3-rack should be the build of choice from Moja. Working towards a very marine-heavy, very bio-heavy composition. Bunkers on the way to be safe. There's that second racks, and we should soon be seeing a third racks into stim, into fire. ShoWTimE comes in with hallucination, does confirm the missing factory, and will get eyes on the CC as well. So ShoWTimE is fully aware of how greedy Moja is being, and the question becomes, can ShoWTimE punish this greed? As a reminder, this map, the reason why we often see builds like this on Neon Violet Square is because it is easier to get away with this. We'll see if ShoWTimE can punish. For now, though, it looks like he's expanding. Okay, so he sees that his opponent's being greedy, so he expands himself. ShoWTimE is not setting up for an all-in. Behind this, we have a two gates here at the natural, third gateway in the main, so 3-gate blink into a third. This is the same build that ShoWTimE went for in the last game. So 3-gate blink into a third base. We could see ShoWTimE stay on a low gateway count and take extra gases and go for a faster Robo into a faster Bay into faster Colossus production. We'll see how many corners ShoWTimE does cut. As Moja is going to be stuck at home until Stim finishes. Like, he's going to be going for, I would imagine, a Stim timing. Because this is later as well, he may just wait for his medevacs. There we go. Factories on the way into Starport, into medevac production. Lose Nation confirms the 3 racks. ShoWTimE just making sure that Moja isn't going for anything too crazy. Don't blame him. Stalkers are being somewhat active. There's the Robo on the way. And remember last game, I mean, we saw, I guess, a greedy build anyway by ShoWTimE, if you recall. It was a third base into the gases, into Robo, into Bay, into +1 and Forge. Speaking of, yep, there's the Forge for +1. And we should soon be seeing the Bay. So ShoWTimE is being quite greedy, very tech heavy. Yep, there's the Bay, now being thrown down. ShoWTimE, he's intentionally skipping warp-ins. Like, this is his army. 4 Stalkers. Like, this is all he has. He's skipping warp-ins to afford all this tech. And again, he's under no danger. Like, right, there's nothing to really threaten ShoWTimE. He can afford to skip warp-ins. He can afford to focus on all these upgrades. As Moja is still stuck at home. Okay, now here comes the move out. He is spotted. And it's going to be on ShoWTimE to do this. So slow it down, pick up a Marine here and there. Pick up a Marauder if at all possible. Oh, the Marauder's getting low. He gets it. Massive pickoff. One Marauder goes down. And we spoke about it. It's very awkward to actually push through these squares. Through the pachinko machine, Pappy. And Moja backs off. He just backs off, throws down extra Rexes, and he doesn't move out. And that means that ShoWTimE, he has gotten away with all of this, with all this greed. And now finally we get a gateway explosion. And now finally ShoWTimE will start warping in. But, I mean, fun fact, he did not warp in as a response to the move out. Didn't flinch. He's just taking a 4th. Again, this is the army. Like, 4 Stalkers. Ay, ay, ay. So again, intentionally skipping warp-ins. Just no warp-ins, just focusing on the second Forge, all the gateways, 4th Nexus, all the upgrades. Like, Moja has double the army supply, but he can't really make use of it. And the supplies are close, but the soup does lie, right? The soup doesn't really tell the story here of what's happening. The fact that because ShoWTimE is cutting all these corners, soon he will stop. Soon he will be able to make use of all these upgrades, of all this production. And ShoWTimE is going to skyrocket ahead in the mid-game. And that's what this is all about. Once the 4th base gets operational. Moja likewise throwing down his own 4th CC. Dark Shrine on the way. So let's go. Dark Shrine's on the way. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be opposed to ShoWTimE throwing down like a Fleet Beacon and the Stargates and work towards like a Mothership and Skytoss, right? Like that's what we expect to see on Neon Violet Square. Just tech into Skytoss because why not? I mean, ShoWTimE could have. Like, again, Moja has not scattered at all. If ShoWTimE wanted to, he could have skipped, he could have delayed Colossus production, gone straight for Skytoss instead, and Moja would have no idea. And ShoWTimE would have gotten away with it. I mean, he's still getting away with greed, but again, could have gotten away with more. As Moja's now moving out, we have the Ghost Academy behind this. Now it's going to be pushing. And at this point, as we did mention, now that the 4th base is fully operational for ShoWTimE, now he's focusing on warp-ins. Now he's building up his army. He's got 3 Colossi, 2nd Robos on the way. That's going to be for Disruptor production. And we'll see what Moja can get done. Going for a split push. Zealot does spot the initial army. You see ShoWTimE in between the bases. And again, it's very easy to rotate between this natural location and the 3rd. Moja can threaten a drop, but yep, ShoWTimE is in the main. He's ready for the drop play. This low ground base is exposed. And rotating between the 4th and the 3rd is a little bit more awkward. Our Moja pushes in, ShoWTimE's ready, and we'll zone away. And just like that, Moja is deflected. ShoWTimE gets away with his 5th. Moja backing off. Now reinforcing with Ghosts. Still no Vikings. Vikings are something that we did miss out on last game as well. It's very bio heavy. And it can be very difficult pushing into 3 Colossi without Vikings. I mean, EMPs are good, but... Yo, they're not that good. Oh, going for the Doom Drop. Let's go. He's going to be diving into the main. ShoWTimE somewhat in position. He scans, sees the army, drops further back. ShoWTimE is keeping up. Yeah, it does blink over. Colossi raining down. The rest of the army does respond. And Moja is not really going to get much done here. He has to pick up his to get the hell out of here. At the same time, pushing in towards the 5th. Is getting damaged. EMP's the Nexus, no recall. And the base, it looks like it will go down. Nice pickup. Again, the Doom Drop was a distraction. Takes down the base and retreats. Some nice moves here out of Moja. Getting into 3-3. His 4th is up, now getting his own 5th base. And now the pressure is on ShoWTimE. And he's counterattacking. ShoWTimE is moving out. Gathering everything across the map. Moja, he races back home. And can the main army be dealt with? I mean, we spoke about this. The advantage of Moja's army currently is how mobile it is. As we saw, right, with drop play, with all these sims, with all these dives, it's a very flexible army. But in a head-on fight, I have to favor ShoWTimE. Just because there's no backbone to this army. There's no Vikings, there's no Liberators. We'll see as ShoWTimE's only moving out. Okay, I was going to say only with 2 Colossi, but the 3rd one has arrived. Disruptors are here. Both armies are maxed. ShoWTimE dropping into the main. Ooh, is deflected. Is denied. Pushing into a concave, not going to be easy. Where are the Novas? I'll pick up micro here out of ShoWTimE. Nice force fields. He's still holding on to those Novas. Yeah, Nova's going to be going off. Nice control, nice target firing on the Disruptor. Up on the Novas. Ooh, they do connect. They take down the Ghost. Reinforcements have arrived. ShoWTimE, he still maintains his position here. Getting the goal behind this. Working towards the goal base. ShoWTimE, he doesn't keep pushing. The planetary does hold its own. And a Viking production has begun for Moja. Let's go. Vikings are on the way. ShoWTimE now with the greater economy, you can afford things like this. Just mass DT warp-ins. There is a turret, thankfully, but with enough DTs, I mean, they don't care about your turrets. They don't care about your planetary. They will bring it down. That's how many? That's 10. 10 Dark Templar. Nice EMP on the Stalkers. Again, ShoWTimE distracting the main army. DTs, they blink in, and it takes 1, 2, 3 swipes, and the base goes down. Disruptors that left behind. Not bad. 2 Disruptors go down. 3 Disruptors go down. Disruptors, they rally, and Moja, he will take this fight. Takes down 4 Disruptors, collapses on the Colossus. Bit of miscontrol here out of ShoWTimE. And Moja, he needs to keep going from here. Does take a supply lead. Did lose a 5th base behind this. DTs are cleaned up. And we have to keep going. Send it, Papi, send it. Keep going. As Moja, he has double the army supply. ShoWTimE, he got caught out. His robot army was reset. And Moja, he's got to go. Behind this, trying to re-expand. Going for the 6th. And Moja, he will kill the 6th base, but really this is just buying time. It's just buying time for ShoWTimE. As he's got more warp-ins. He has 2 Disruptors. Moja, he still has this army supply lead. Nice EMP. Up. Never goes up. Doesn't connect. Nice target firing here out of Moja. Force the kite back. Nova does graze the army. 2 more Disruptors have arrived. Disruptors are here. The Ghosts are getting caught out. Brutal pickups. Moja, he's trying to break through, but pushing into all these disruptors, not easy. Nervous, they just keep popping up. And nice trades here with the Zelch, just a more efficient trade here by ShoWTimE. Forcing the army back. ShoWTimE chasing him down. Oh my god. The Nova's brutal. The Nova doesn't care about the square spike. They just go right through. Oh my god. And now the Viking count has been reset. No more Vikings. Colossal production has begun. Doom drop into the main. ShoWTimE not quite in position. But DT's warp in. Be buying time. Cannons as well. Yeah, they're dropping, not achieving too much damage. Has to back up. And ShoWTimE instead expands towards the south. Still getting a 6th expansion. 6 bases on the way. And ShoWTimE is recovered. He has recovered. He has bounced back. There was a time where he was down 40 supply. But with the help of those disruptors, he bought enough time. And that advantage that Moja once had, it isn't really there anymore. And now he's down to 59 SCVs. Does have his base back up and running, and he will deny the stick. Nice rotation. Will deny the expansion. Containing ShoWTimE. Oh god. Nice pickoffs. Catching the medevacs. Medevacs do get picked up. Likewise, Moja defends against the Prism. Had plenty of turrets in position. And ideally, Moja wants to fight out of the open like this. Wants to set up that concave. Is trying to. Last ShoWTimE, he dives in. Takes the mean piece to the face. That's 5 disruptors. Oh my god, massive connections. Takes out the ghost. Zones away the bio. Still better trades for ShoWTimE. And Moja's not able to punish. Not able to get on top of those disruptors. We get some decent EMPs, but alas, ShoWTimE he will overwhelm, forcing the army back. Moja just racing back to his planetary. And ShoWTimE he can keep pushing and just reinforce on front lines. Double expanding, going for the golds, going for the southern base as well. ShoWTimE has map control, he's maxed out. And he's pushing in. And just raining down on the 4th base. Oh, sorry, 5th base even. Getting 5 SCVs. Oh god, Nova's going up. I mean, Moja's up against the wall, he can barely kite back. These are good. He's mainly got a Marauder-based army. That's a lot of Marauders. And he has to commit. He goes for the dive. Gets up with the Stalkers. A lot of Stalkers are going down. But the Colossus, they just rain down from behind. No Vikings. And again, it's just consistent splash damage here on the Bio Army. Nice control. Saves the Colossus. And over time, Moja, he's just bleeding out too much. Bleeding out far too much here. Every time the Colossus, they just get so much damage on this army. We have 2 more Colossi on the way. Once again, just zoning the army back. Nova's getting into the mineral line. 8 SCVs go down. And Moja can't even mine from his 5th. No mining. We're just trying to push in, getting back into Viking production. They can just be targeted down. And the Vikings, they fall one after the other. Oh, the Novas are brutal. They don't one-shot Marauders, but they don't need to. I mean, that's what the Colossus are for. So they just knock everything down. Moja kiting back. Once again, having rough trades. And GG gets called as he just runs out of steam, and ShoWTimE will take the series 2-0, taking down Moja. GG. GG, well played. ShoWTimE does overwhelm, but a shout out to Moja because this was still a very... I mean, there were definitely some good moments from Moja, and there were some close moments as well. Referring back to the greed of ShoWTimE, did get away with a lot. He was the first to max out. He was abusing his opponent, but then we had a really rough engagement for ShoWTimE. If you remember, it was at the on the low ground. On the low ground, when ShoWTimE, he rallied 4 disruptors into the army. It was just one after the other. All 4 disruptors went down. The Colossus were left exposed. There were no Novas to zone the army away. That was the moment that Moja, he took a fight. He took a fight. He reset the Robo army, and he had a 40 supply lead. It was a big moment for Moja. Unfortunately, by the time he counterattacked, and again, a big reason for this is the size of the map. We mentioned before, coming into this, Neon Violet Square is the largest map in the map pool. It takes a long time to get across the map. By the time he did get across, there were 2 disruptors. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that was enough to just zone the army away. There is a choke point coming into that low ground expansion, so he couldn't really break through. If you remember, he tried to, he couldn't. He went for a Doom Drop into the main instead. Likewise, there was Static Defense, there was Sim City. The Doom Drop was too awkward, and ShoWTimE, he just bought enough time to actually make use of his bank and rebuild. He was able to rebuild, and that moment of vulnerability had come and gone. But there was a chance there definitely for Moja where he could potentially break through and get a base. You could also argue that maybe Moja wasted time at the gold. If you remember, when he counterattacked, he went for the 6th expansion, which was the gold base, and he did kill it. But the gold base didn't really matter, right? Like, it wasn't really an important base. So he did spend time killing it, and that gave ShoWTimE more time to warp in and to build up those disruptors. You could argue that maybe Moja should have had a little bit more urgency to instead ignore the 6th base, ignore the gold, and go for a more important expansion first, and then fall back to the gold and get both, or at least try and get both. So yeah, you can definitely make an argument that did take a little bit too long to move out, to get across, to get any critical damage. With that, GG. GG, well played. ShoWTimE does take the series, and that leads us into our next match. Oh boy. Here we go. As we are now halfway through the broadcast. We're now halfway through. We can take a moment here to go over the bracket, or to go over the matches themselves, and to catch up on what has been going on. Here we go. We have those updates here. Again, here tonight we're covering Group B. We're covering the matches that never got casted, at least in English. And we have our results coming in. Mari did take down Moja 2-0. ShoWTimE took down Geralt 2-1. We're all the way to the ace match. Again, a very close series between the 2 players. We just wrapped up with ShoWTimE versus Moja. Again, there was some nice moments for Moja as well. We even had a crazy base trade in game 1. And we have 2 matches left. We have 2 series remaining. We have Spirit versus Kelazur and Serral versus Jumi. Oh boy. Live at the time, we did actually cast most of Kelazur's games live. There were a lot of Kelazur's matches were covered by us, and I believe a lot of Maru's matches were covered by the mainstream. So we do have what was left over here available to us. And again, Spirit vs. Kelazur in a TvT is coming up next. Likewise, at the end of the night, so at the end of the broadcast, we have Serral vs. Jumi. That is a match from Group D. Group D was a little bit different. When we were covering Group D live, the matches in Group D, the series were very short series. So very often we would wrap up our best of 3 and have enough time to catch another match as well. So we actually casted twice as much when we covered Group D, and we covered most of the matches. There's only 2 matches that we didn't cover. Serral vs. Jumi is one of them. The other was Ryung vs. Jumi. So there were only 2 matches that didn't get casted in Group D, which was Ryung vs. Jumi and Serral vs. Jumi. We casted Ryung vs. Jumi last night, Serral vs. Jumi today. So that is the plan. That is the plan. So we are just catching up on all those matches. For now, we are going to be going on a short break. We're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we will have the finale, the final 2 series of the broadcast. That is the plan. So take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and be back soon for some more StarCraft. 2 more matches. See you soon. See you soon.